Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're gonna go through the market update, and we're also gonna take a look at some of the setups that I'm gonna be watching for next week. I'm gonna share with you 4 setups, one of the best setups that I'm watching for next week. And if you wanna know what those setups are, make sure to stick all the way to the end of this video. At the beginning of the video, we're gonna take a look at one of the most important charts in the market, and that is the SPY. We're gonna take a look at the SPX chart. It's basically the same, but I like to take a look at the SPX. I like to see the levels in that chart. I think it's really important, and I think that we get some pretty clean levels. Also guys, remember, if you haven't done that already, make sure to like and subscribe, and also follow me on my Twitter account. So welcome back guys to a new episode of the channel. I hope that you're having a fantastic month. It has been a pretty volatile month. We have seen a lot of things happening, especially in the financial sector. So crazy things happening in the XLF. I think that we are not yet out of the woods. I do think that the path of least resistance continue to be to the downside, but right now we're having a kind of a division in the market. We're having basically the defensive sectors, including the XLV, and then we're having the financial sectors, including the XLF, that are they continue to be in very strong downtrends. And then we have the tech sector, especially the mega cap sector, which is actually showing a lot of bullish, a lot of bullish structure, so a lot of strength. So we're gonna take a look at those sectors. I think that there is a possibility for a bounce in the market, and I want to focus on tech. So that's basically what we're gonna cover. But we have to be aware that next week we have the CPI, or sorry, we already have CPI this week, but what we have next week is actually we're gonna have the meeting, the Fed meeting. So we're gonna see what actually the rate hike is. So that's gonna be interesting. Remember that we have that next week, so that's probably gonna cause a lot of volatility. So let's just jump directly into the charts, and let's take a look at what price action is actually telling us. So first of all, here I have a chart of the SPX, and something really interesting guys, and let me just grab my drawing tools before I show this to you. Just as a side note, if you haven't used ChatGPT-4, I highly recommend it. I think that you have to, I'm paying a subscription for ChatGPT, and let me just get here are my drawing tools. I'm actually paying this subscription for ChatGPT. I think it's like $20 that you pay, but it's actually such a fantastic tool. I recommend it 100%. I was able to code my momentum indicator, which is this indicator right here. If you follow me on my Twitter account, I did make that announcement. I'm pretty happy that I code this indicator. This is a momentum indicator. Basically, it helps, is pretty similar to the MACD indicator, and I included some buy and sell signals. So you can see the sell signal right here, right in this day right here, and then we had this move, and you can see the buy signal right here, and then we had this amazing move. So I was able to code this indicator. I didn't have any experience in coding, but with using ChatGPT, I was able to do it. So it was pretty amazing. I think it's a fantastic tool, and I'm gonna be talking a lot about this indicator here in the channel. It's actually an amazing thing, and it has a lot of things from other traders that I have learned. It's kind of a combination of many styles. It's something that helps me a lot. It helps you find divergences. It helps you see buy and sell signals. It's actually a pretty fantastic tool. And of course, I continue to backtest it, see how it works, see if it needs a little bit of changes, but I'm actually pretty happy with the result. So back to the chart. Right here I have the SPX. And let's take a look right here, right? So if you have been following my channel for a while, you can see that I take a lot of attention into that 21 exponential moving average. The 21 exponential moving average is one of the most important moving averages for my time frame, and anytime that we're below that moving average, I'm gonna consider that the bears have an upper hand, have an advantage in terms of the price action. You can see right here that we had actually quite a considerable bounce, but you can see that we stopped right there at that decline in 21 exponential moving average. And as long as we continue to be below that level, which is basically somewhere around somewhere around 33,950. I think that's gonna continue to be a ceiling for price, and even if we happen to get above this level right here, we have a lot of resistance right at that 4,000 level. You can see that we have this anchor VWAP going from this high of February. You can see that the anchor VWAP is coming right into 4,000. We also have the 50 daily moving average, and we have the 30 daily moving average. And not only that, besides having the anchor VWAP, we also have a very, very important supply level. So even if the market happens to bounce here, I'm expecting actually some failure. So it's going to be pretty interesting how the market reacts. If you like kind of the patterns of price, you can see that right now we're forming kind of an ascending wedge. I don't know if this is going to resolve to the upside first and then to the downside, or we're just going to break. So that's actually going to be pretty interesting. In terms of my indicators, you know that I use the TTM squeeze. This is an indicator from John Carter. You can see that we have rising momentum, but we continue to be below the zero line. And in terms of the momentum indicator that I have here, you can see that we do have a divergence. So you can see that price is moving down, but the momentum indicator is starting to rise. However, as long as we continue to be below the midline, which is the zero line right here, this basically is telling me that we continue to see more momentum to the downside. So that means that the bears continue to be in control in terms of momentum and also in terms of price structure. So I think that even though we had some interesting bounce, this continue to be a bearish chart. So we have to take that in consideration. We have to manage our exposure correctly if we want to play this to the upside. I don't see much of an advantage of being bearish right here. Right, I think that the day to be bearish was actually on this rally to the 21. I didn't execute any bearish trades, so I'm actually sitting on 100% cash. But I think that we have to be very, very patient. I think that probably it's gonna be better to wait for the Fed meeting. Probably that way we're gonna get a little bit more of an interesting picture. Now, what I want to show you here, and let's just jump directly into the watch list. What I want to see here is actually something pretty interesting that I'm seeing right here in the QQQ. So as you can see, the SPX, which I think that is the most important chart in the market, continues to be bearish. However, and you can see that I have an alert right here. Let me just hide that alert. You can see that the QQQ is actually trading above the moving averages. We're trading above the anchor VWAP from the high. That means that anyone who bought this candle in average is making money. So that's actually pretty bullish. And you can see here that we broke above the supply level and we're trading above that level. Now we're finding a lot of resistance right here at this level, somewhere around 309.10. So I think that's going to be a very, very important level of resistance. That's a lot of supply, and I will consider this to be the first extension from the moving averages. You can see right here that we pop above the moving averages, and I think that this is the first extension. What happens when we have a first extension? We usually see some kind of pullback. Now, in terms of indicators, you can see that the TTM squeeze is rising, which is bullish. And you can see right here that I do have a buy signal in the momentum indicator. The last time that we have a buy signal, we actually had an impressive move. But of course, we have to follow it day by day and mostly focus on the price action. So for this chart specifically, I want to play it bullish. I most likely will do it with the TQQQ. So that's the 3X ETF. So that's the TQQQ. And the way that I want to execute this is only if we happen to see some sort of pullback. If we happen to see some sort of pullback right here into this level, which is somewhere around 300, I think that will be an amazing level to get some bullish exposure and then probably look for a test of this high right here. So that's going to be the trade. I think that's the high probability trade, and it's a very easy trade, right? Because if we happen to pull back to 300, if we happen to lose that level somewhere below 296, I think that basically is going to be our stop, and it's going to be a really easy trade to manage. The next one is going to be SMH, and you can see that these charts are very, very similar. Same thing right here. You can see that we have a squeeze, we have a buy signal, and now what is interesting is that we are also testing a level of supply. You can see right here that I have this orange arrow because I think that this is kind of a first extension after popping above those moving averages. So my expectation is that this level is going to act as resistance. We're going to see some sort of pullback, probably into that 21 exponential moving average, or at least into that 8 exponential moving average. So the level that I'm going to be watching is basically somewhere around 245. If we happen to pull back to 245, then I think that we have a decent opportunity to test this 260 level to the upside, perhaps take out these sellers. And I think that will be a nice opportunity. And of course, the stop will be somewhere around 240 if we happen to lose this very, very strong candle that we had on Thursday. So that's going to be the trade for the XMH. And if you want to trade it, I think that the SOXL is a very, very easy way to trade it. That's the leverage ETF, 3 leverage ETF, bullish for the SMH. Now let's take a look at Apple, and you can see that these setups are very, very similar. You don't have to play them all, but this is kind of just of a generation idea for the week. For Apple, it's going to be the same thing. You can see that we have a rising squeeze, we have a buy signal, and then of course you can see that we're trading above all of these anchor VWAPs that we have right here. So that's actually pretty bullish. That means that bulls for the time being are in control. However, we're finding a little bit of resistance at that supply level. So any pullback into that 8 exponential moving average, somewhere around 152.50, I think that will be an amazing place to get some Apple exposure, and then perhaps look for a continuation somewhere above 158, perhaps 160, but we will have to manage it day by day. And then the final name is going to be Amazon, and Amazon had a pretty amazing week. You can see right here that we had this base. You can see right here kind of the pattern that was going to the downside, but you can see that the momentum was already rising, so that's a positive divergence. You can see right here that we have a squeeze. This squeeze is also pointing to the upside, so that's actually pretty bullish. And we're trading above these anchor VWAPs. You can see that the anchor VWAP that we had anchored here is trading somewhere around 95 or 96. And you also can see that the anchor VWAP that we have from this bottom right here is also trading somewhere around 96. So it's actually pretty bullish. Any pullback into this breakout level, I think that's going to be a magnificent, a very amazing opportunity to get some bullish exposure, manage our risk somewhere around 94, and then look for a continuation to the upside in Amazon. So it's going to be the same recipe: buy signal in the momentum, bullish squeeze, and of course price action is also confirming that bulls continue to be in control. So basically, for the summary, guys, is that the SPX, if we take a look at the chart again, the SPX has bearish structure. We don't have buy signals, we don't have any of confirmation from momentum, and we don't have confirmation from price at the moment. The best way to approach this is, in my opinion, is waiting for a pullback in tech, because it's the most bullish sector in the market. Wait for a pullback, focus on mega caps. I think that that's going to be the easy trade, that's going to be the safe trade, because I think for what I was looking on the momentum from breadth indicators and everything, not a lot of the small caps are participating in the move. If we take a look at the IWM, you can see that the IWM is basically trading near the lows, and of course the IWM has a lot of financial exposure, but a lot of the small caps are actually trading here. So we are not seeing that risk coming back into the market. We're actually only seeing the QQQ and the mega caps moving. So I think that we have to be aware that if we want to play this to the long side, probably the mega caps are the best option to do it. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. I hope that this was pretty helpful. I'm sure that you're gonna find a lot of valuable information here. And if you want to learn more about my trading system and my trading tools, I have made already several videos on the moving averages that I use, so you can learn a lot more information there. And of course, I'm gonna continue to upload more videos about those things. So stay tuned and make sure to have the notifications working so that you don't miss any video. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you on future episodes. Bye bye.